Hey, coaches. Welcome to the Best Damn Coach podcast. Amanda here. Today we're talking about a critical variable that I think we're all after, and that is getting more eyeballs on your business. Specifically, how do I increase visibility so more people know I exist? So today's episode is devoted to that. And be sure to stick around because I'm going to be sharing transparently the exact investments I've already made, exactly how much I've spent in order to support my goals as we step into 2025. So I cannot wait to share this episode with you. Welcome, coaches, to this week's episode of the Best Damn Coach podcast. I'm talking about how to get more eyeballs on your business. I mean, put a hand up if you feel like the one thing that will change everything for you is if you had more clients. I'm going to put my hand up too, because even though we have hundreds of clients, truthfully, the one thing that would change everything for me is to get more of them and take our programs to a next level. And I know some of you listening are like, I'm ready for more. I have a few. It feels good. I want my roster to be full. I'm ready to launch a group program. Wherever you're at, no matter if it's one client or 100, today's episode is really tiered towards what I think is a critical focal point for you as you proceed in your business to get more eyeballs on them. So more eyes on your work, from my opinion, means a couple of things. It doesn't always just mean more clients. And in fact, sometimes, like I always say, business is a crock pot and not a microwave. Sometimes you get those eyeballs on your business and it takes time for them to warm up, convert. Maybe they won't ever necessarily become clients, but what they will become is fans of your work. And when you have more fans, you're directing more traffic. And when you have more traffic, right, there's likelihood of purchasing. But more eyeballs on your business also builds authority. It builds invitations to speaking, possibilities to guesting on podcasts. There's a lot of things here that I think are important for you to think about when it comes to getting more eyeballs. And stick around till the end because I'm going to be talking about complete transparency, including dollar amounts on the exact things that I am investing in 2025 to get more eyeballs on my business as well. And why investment sometimes feels scary, but the ROI that I've experienced, I'm going to be sharing actually how much money I've invested in my business over the last 8 years. So here's what I know about you guys. You wake up sometimes and you're like, dang, I'm doing all the things. I am so motivated. I'm so passionate. I'll take all the action. I'll do all the things that I'm supposed to, but you feel like you're kind of running in circles. You definitely feel like that hidden gem. And if you are like so many of us and we feel on the inside of like, we're just ready for more. We're ready for more clients. We're ready to get to the next level. And I feel like this is such a good time to have this conversation. We're rounding out 2024. In your brains, you're thinking about 2025 and what's coming. And I know inside the Best Damn Coach, this is what we're preparing for too. I'm going to be teaching some critical strategies to my members that are really going to help them get locked in and focused in 2025. And if you're looking to get locked in and focused, if you're looking to learn from somebody who's been where you have been and can give you a fast track, you want to be in a community because you know they're going to push you, they're going to challenge you, you're going to be inspired by what everybody else is doing. I'm hosting a rare opportunity coming up on December 4th. It is an open house. It's an opportunity. I'm inviting you right now to come into our December 4th open coaching call inside the BDC. I'm not even going to tell you what we're covering because it's so good and it's going to take your business to the next level, but it is one of our themed calls. So each month I introduce a theme, a focal point of the month to the BDC. So we have 2 themed calls, 2 open coaching calls. This one is one of our theme calls. I'm going to be teaching. I'm going to be answering questions. I'm going to be doing some live coaching all around a really critical topic that's going to serve you in 2025. So if you've ever wanted to take a look behind the scenes, come see what the BDC is like and how powerful it is, I would love to have you. You can sign up. You're going to be asked to fill out a couple questions. This isn't for looky-loos. This is for people who are serious about taking their business to the next level and who are ready to really up level in 2025. So you can fill out the application. I'll send you all the links for the call after. And that URL is amanda-walker.com/December. We'll put it in the show notes as well. So back to business here. So when I think about some of the greatest catalysts in my business, so things that have really helped me go to the next level, 2 things come up. And I'm talking about both of those today. One is the word visibility, exposure. And the second is investing in myself and my business. And so I'm going to talk about the first and we'll get into the investments because I'll stick around. I'm going to share all the details of what I've already invested in moving forward in 2025. I was introduced to this notion of omnipresence. And that's really resonated with me because I think so much of the time when we're in business, we think like everybody hears us. Everybody knows we're in business. Everybody knows we're selling a coaching service. And the truth is, and the reality is, people have freaking busy lives. And even though we're showing up consistently, we're putting out great content. I'm spending a great deal of time recording and getting this podcast into your ears. Not everybody listens every week. Not everybody has found me, by the way. If this is your first episode, I'm so pumped that you're here. Welcome to the show. But what I've realized is there's so much. I think we undervalue the possibilities of what it looks like or what the potential to do amazing work in this world is like when we just get in front of one more person, And I know sometimes I'm thinking Madison Square Garden arena. And what I have to remember is like a room full of 10 to 20 is actually sometimes more potent because it's quality over quantity. It's warmer clients versus colder clients. But often what we have to remember is the relationship with the people we're trying to nurture is not reciprocal. We're going to have to do a lot more of the work to get our brand out there, to get our coaching services out there, to get our name out there. And we're going to do it. And sometimes it is going to feel like crickets, but that doesn't mean that people aren't listening, that people aren't, what I always say is becoming a voyeur of your content, like taking it in until the right moment is there in front of them that they're going to say yes. So as we think about getting more eyeballs on your business, I want you to think about being an omnipresence. That's like everywhere. So when I open up the phone, you're there. When I get on my laptop, you're there. When I am at an event, people are talking about you. You're like seeing me on all these podcasts, seeing you on all these podcasts. So think when it comes to more eyeballs, it's important to think about how can I, here's what we say in the BDC, go to where I am not known and get in front of the ideal client that I'm dreaming about working with. So this is just an assignment I want to give to you right now. I want you to answer this question for you when you get off of this episode, or start right now, put it in the notes app, go write it down, is how do I go to where I'm not known? Right? Be in rooms where you don't know anybody. Be in places where you don't know anybody, because our comfort zone keeps us to the pocket that we feel safe in. But those people already know. Your 5 friends that you hang out with and talk about it all the time already know. They don't need your services likely. It's the other people that don't know you exist that need you. And I promise you, if you make this your 2025 mission, and even the last stretch, 30-ish days left by the time this episode gets in your ears of 2024, if you make this for your mission for 2025, your business will look entirely different than it does now. And I share this because that's what we've done for 2 years now. In 2023, I solely focused on creating a podcast workflow where I was pitching myself to at least 5 to 10 podcasts a week. I think we ended up being on about 80 something podcasts this month, that year. Some of them were from cold pitches, but a great deal of them also came from me going out and making connections with people, from going and attending live events, going to attending networking events, seeing what was happening in my area, but also doing the same thing virtually. The byproduct of attendance there is you build these amazing relationships. And even if you don't get on a podcast, well, they remember like, oh, Amanda, she's the framework builder. She runs that community called the Best Damn Coach. Her podcast is amazing. You need to connect. So there's so much energy that happens when you focus on going to where you are not known and increasing the likelihood of more people getting to know you. I mean, it's just simple mathematics. If you think about, the numbers, it is a numbers game to some extent. But what it requires internally is a willingness to get outside your comfort zone, to stand in a room and be willing to fumble a little bit and feel uncomfortable and like the awkward duck in the room. And that's okay. I promise I was there. I share that. I think back to even I attended this big conference in 2021. It was supposed to go down in 2020. Obvious reasons it didn't. And I remember even then, which only feels like 3-4 years ago, it was kind of like I walked in, I kind of like stood to myself, fly on the wall. And it was actually at that conference, I was like, girl, if this is how you're going to be, then you are blocking yourself from what's possible. And it was like I went to bed, I had this internal like pep talk with myself. And the next day I was just like, I'm just going to talk to everyone. I'm going to introduce myself. I'm just going to get inside of conversations. And that confidence beget more of that. And that's what I want for you. I want you to just have that internal pep talk. Let this episode be that swift kick in the rear that you need to go to where you are not known. From a strategy standpoint, like how do you do this? What does this like the daily or weekly routine look like to make sure you're increasing your omnipresence? So something I would do if I were to be in your seats, and to some degree I am in your seats, although different focus this year as we move on, is like set a goal for yourself. I'm going to attend one monthly like community event, networking event, entrepreneurial event in my area a month. And then you can go on to, you can search them using hashtags. You can go, there's usually like flyers hung up if you know somebody in your area. There's event, platforms that you can search that will share. And I promise you, there's stuff happening that you don't even know exists. Because when I started doing this, I was like, dang, how did I not even know this was happening in my own hometown? The second piece of this is I would create a regular pitching strategy, whether that means you're pitching to be on podcasts, pitching to be on IG lives, pitching guest writing, like there's to write in publications. You pick your medium for which you have the strongest. For me, it's guesting on podcasts. I love to talk. Clearly, I love to talk. I love to talk way more than write. And so our sole strategy is to get in front of as many podcast guesting opportunities as possible. And to also, be on any other live shows, teach in other people's communities. So first, you have to pick the platform. And second, you have to choose a cadence to pitch yourself. So I would advise that you spend roughly, at minimum an hour a week working on this strategy, if not 5 hours a week, or you spend a day working on this strategy. And truthfully, back in 2022, that's what I did. I started refining the strategy. I was scared crapless to pitch myself to podcasts. I was so afraid of rejection. And so it took me hours to, figure out, there's a process. I teach this entire process inside the BDC. We spend every April working on visibility, including how do I find the right podcasts? How do I pitch to them? What do I say? How do I follow up? What do I do when I actually get on the podcast? All of those things become really critical. And we teach this inside the BDC because I think it's a really, really key part of your business. To that point, my social media grows because of those opportunities. It's not that I'm creating viral content and people are organically finding me. It's truthfully the other places that I go to where I'm not known and people hear me. And I know this because I audit my BDC. When we talk about visibility, I would say 40% of the room was like, oh, I heard you on a podcast. I heard you on a podcast. This was the underground world of entrepreneurship that I didn't know. And so I was beating my head against the wall. Like, why am I growing? I'm showing up doing these things. I'm hosting the workshops all the time. That's great. But we also have to extend your network and audience and bring them in. And so much of that is because I went out to where I wasn't known, provided a crap ton of value. People love what they were hearing. They love my energy. They loved me. And some people didn't, but then they began to follow me on socials, become listeners of the podcast. So if I were you, that would be my cadence. That would be like the strategy, the action standpoint. After you determine where do you need to go? Where are your clients that you are not? Then determine the mediums. This is 3 steps, right? Answer that question that I first gave you. Go to where you're not known. Where are they? 2, figure out the medium for which you can deliver. And 3, create a regular process to make sure you're getting in front of them. So that is kind of like that visibility piece. And I recently, to shift gears, sat down. One of the things that I start to do starting like October-ish is start to just reflect. I'm like, okay, I'm hitting Q4. What have we seen happen? And, for us, we've had a significant revenue increase of 60+%. And the question I ask myself is why? Where did that come from? What have I done differently? And the even cooler part of that is because I'm in a season where I'm shifting to focus less on one-to-one and more of my group coaching, some of my corporate contracts, but our group programs. And we're going to be launching a new group program, a new group offering, I should say, intensive in January. Stay tuned because you are not going to want to miss it. Is to even also see with that revenue shift, the format, the type of structure of how I'm delivering programs is even more awesome. But the question is like, why is this happening? Right? What's great about it? Well, one thing is what I'm going to be teaching in our new intensive, something really important that we've been doing in our business that is building revenue upward inside of it. But the other piece is what I'm talking with you today is about creating omnipresence and being everywhere and becoming known for that thing and more people seeing that. And no matter where you're at in business, this is your opportunity to dig deeper into yourself and ask yourself, like, what is that for you? And so in October, I start to really look at the data, like how many people have come through all of our programs? Where's the revenue coming from? Where do I believe the greatest significance is? And for me, I feel like a great significance is this compound interest of omnipresence and visibility that I've been investing in over the years. A huge part is just committing to webinars. You guys, it's November when I'm recording this. I've been doing a freaking webinar every week, minus a couple weeks when I was on vacation. It's 40 something webinars I've done already. I think about 40 in 2023. And I've gotten really great at it. We've optimized. We're asking questions. We're ready to automate. I think this is a huge piece of the puzzle as well. And what we spent a lot of time in 2024 doing is looking at how to better our ad strategy, which has been a part of the process and a part of getting better, but leveraging relationships and other communities. And now as we move into 2025, I'm like, I want to build that organic piece. I want to rev up even more, going to where we are not known and building organic leads and providing value. And so we sat down and I shared kind of our goal and our mission and some of the ideas, which I'm going to be talking about in January. I'm going to be talking about December. I'm going to be talking about our exact strategy to triple our growth in 2025. And I'm going to be talking about a really important way that I determine exactly what our quote unquote theme is going to be and our intention for 2025. I'm going to walk you through that exact process. So I definitely don't want you to miss the upcoming 2-part series I have going on in December because it's going to really set you up for an amazing 2025. But I want to talk about how what I want and what I see inside of my business determines the investments that I make inside of my business. I was recently talking with one of our Best Damn Coach members, and she said, Amanda, here I am at the end of the year, and I am I'm doing a certification. I invested in this CRM thing that I don't even need. I am investing in this program to work on another coaching modality that I realize I don't need. And here I am in the BDC, the one thing that's actually helping me get further along. And I have so much noise happening inside of my business. And I find and totally feel you. In the beginning, it was kind of like shiny objects. This looks good and this looks good. And I had to curtail that real quickly. And I see so many coaches get lost in this trap of grasping because they're hoping somebody has the magic bullet, right? And they haven't figured it out. So they're like, this person looks like, and this model and this and all these things. And I'm going to keep getting a better coach. I'm not good enough. So I'm going to get more certifications and I'm going to get better at this coaching thing. And while I think all of those things are lovely, I think what you have to decide is what your number one goal in business is. For most of us, not all of us, I think we would agree that we want to serve more people, make a greater impact, and get paid more money to do it. And so if that is your number one goal, then you have to make decisions of how you're going to get there. And what I have realized is that I can totally try to figure out things solo and go to the Googles and listen to all the podcasts and read all the books. And I spent some time in the beginning doing that. But I know you're like me. You like have major dreams. You know you're really amazing at what you do. You have talent. You have a gift for helping people transform. You just love helping people. You love like the twinkle and the lights that come on when they have a breakthrough. And you could do all of that alone, or you could speed up the process by investing in people and places that are going to help you accomplish your goal faster because they deliver the exact ROI, the exact templates, the exact roadmap, or they're just there to hold the accountability and be proximal to someone who you can answer questions to. My first business coaching investment was back in, I believe, 2019. It was 2019. And I was paying $500 a month to my coach, and I definitely didn't have like $500 a month hanging out. It felt so scary. And I remember Justin and I were not on the same page. I felt like, I know this is for me. Like I had this gut feeling. I could feel intuitively. I just knew that I could bet on myself. Like I knew that it was also the catalyst I need. I felt lonely. I felt like nobody in my direct vicinity was in this space. I didn't have a place to answer questions. I was going through like a lot of personal growth because I do believe that your business is only going to grow as much as you do as a human. I was facing tons of limiting beliefs. I was in this massive breakout moment of my life. I didn't know business was going to be that catalyst for me. And I just knew that I needed someone and something in a community to be a part of that was going to take me to that next level. And I remember when I told her yes, I was scared crapless. But it was the catalyst, and she just helped me move so many things to the side, the community, the group coaching experiences, that I kind of was like, well, I'm never not going to do this. I never am not going to be a part of community. And I've only really had like 3 coaches over the years. I've stayed in multiple communities for years on end until maybe I was ready to learn something new. Maybe I was, they changed formats or changed directions. But I really have 3 really critical mentors, I feel like, in my life that have been so instrumental in helping me get to the next level, right? Because what you need to get to 50K is not going to be what you need to do to get to 100K. And same for 100K to 200K and 2 to 5, 500,000. And so many of you are, from my perspective, just in this place where you have to bet on yourself. You have to say, like, this is the catalyst. And that's what happened for me. It was like, I invested the money. I was like, I'm all in. Like, I got to make this happen for myself. And that has been such a game changer. And so what I wanted to share is just really transparently the decisions that I've made moving forward to support my goals, what I want for 2025, and the strategic places that I am investing them. Because I want you to know that that never stops. I don't think you arrive or make it. You just get better over time at having some clarity over the people that you feel good about being, in mentorship and the communities that really vibe with you as you grow. And that's what we've worked really hard to do inside the BDC is to be a place for growth, that as you grow, I have members in their second year now and some even in a third. And we provide opportunities so that as you scale, like, you're supported. When you're ready to go to a group program, when you're ready to invest in Facebook ads, when you're ready to, take your email list to the next level, then there are places and support mechanisms there to also do that for you. So here is what I'm doing in 2025. Knowing that the same thing I'm sharing with you is a goal that I'm ready to up level in. I was strategically seeking out a community since basically August. I was looking for a community, a community that I didn't know, first off, of people that I'd never met or knew very minimally, because again, I want to go to where I'm not known. Because one of the really cool things about being in communities that I underestimated was the relationships that form. Some of my best friends I met in communities and groups and masterminds years ago and still maintain amazing relationships with. But the cool thing is, like, then you become the go-to expert of that group too, right? So I know this happens in the BDC too. We have somebody that does X, a grief coach, and then they run into somebody who's a widow and they're like, oh, this girl in my community, you got to meet her, right? Or money coaches, or, one of our community members just launched a program for teaching toddlers sign language. Like, it becomes such an extended networking possibility, which I know I didn't even anticipate being such an awesome part of that. So I was looking for a new community, a part of a group that I really didn't know much about as far as the members, so that I could be in front of new eyeballs. And I wanted a group that actually spoke like a main central theme and focus of the entire group was visibility. So getting in more publications, getting some support to get into podcasts that are harder to land, possibly writing in publications more, building more strategic partnerships. And so I went to an event and stumbled upon this group. And I was like, dang, I didn't come to this event to invest money today. Like, I didn't even honestly know the mentor who was leading it. I didn't anticipate it, but I knew I was looking, and I just kept praying, like, all right, show me like an opportunity that just feels like a heck yes for me. And so I got there and I was like, oh, duh, like this makes a lot of sense. And I felt this intuition of like, I think this is it. And the other thing I was looking for was opportunities to attend live events with this group, much like we do our retreats or our 2-day live event coming up in April. More to come on that. So I knew I wanted to be able to have a virtual and an in-person connection. And so by the end of the event, she shares kind of this year-long community she's building. And I was like, this is the thing. And of course, the price tag comes up. And the price tag for the year is $27,000. And I looked at that price tag, and here's like the cool thing about growth is that would have scared the shit out of me 5 years ago, 4 years ago even. But truth be told, I've already invested in communities that were $25,000 each for the year. So I've done that a couple of times. And the amazing part about it is in each of those communities, I know I got the ROI, not necessarily always because I make that money back. I did get clients from both of those communities, but I learned how to take that dynamic and apply it to my business. The experts that taught us, like I took those learnings and applied it. One of the investments wasn't a great one. I've talked about it here, but it taught me how to never operate business. And so it made me so good at client delivery. And so this is where most of you get stuck, is you want to know, like, how does this make me the money? And it doesn't always happen in the time that you invest, but you build the building blocks. It's like for those of you like, how do I guarantee the results in the time frame? Well, you don't. If you're a fertility coach, you're helping somebody get pregnant. They may not get pregnant in the 6-month coaching container, but you're building the foundation so they go get pregnant. If you're a relationship coach and you're teaching someone how to find a soulmate, you're building the foundation so they can go out and find that soulmate. Just like in the BDC, you may not make 6 figures in the year, but we're building a foundation that's going to surpass those multiple 6 figures as you go. So part of it is letting go, and it's realizing that putting yourself in a room with people that challenge you, support you, fast track you is the best money you'll ever spend on yourself and the people that you get to impact. So I said yes to this opportunity. I'm super pumped about it. We kick off soon in December. I'm sure I'll be sharing more about the community. You can follow along on Instagram and learn more about it. But what also happens that's really important is I'm going to learn a crap ton next year, and my clients become the exact beneficiaries of the growth. I'm going to grow. I'm going to learn things. I'm going to bring it to them. I'm going to be taught new skills. I'm going to bring it to them. I'm going to grow. I'm going to bring it to them. Everything, grow our business. Everything that I learn is going right back to them. And I was calculating, and I don't have like the specific number, but I think I'm at over $300,000 of reinvestment in just education and groups and communities and coaches in my business. And I joke with Justin, I'm like, well, every year I get a master's degree. And that's because I just see the value so much in what it means to learn from people, to be in that space, that if I didn't have people and communities I was accountable to, I would move a lot slower. I would feel like stuck in the doldrums when things are at a lull. I need people that are in my corner to pick me up, to see things differently and to challenge me, and so that I can see what's working in their business and have light bulbs of like, shoot, I can do that. Similarly, the second investment I've made in my business is a $5,000 investment. So I'm at $32,000, and this is where I will stop, except for a couple other things I'll mention. I have such an honor of being at a place of my business where I was hand selected to be invited into this community that's capped for 2025 of just a really small group of entrepreneurs. It is more of a relationship building experience. It's a lower price point, but still high impact. And those are the two communities. Again, I don't know a lot of people on there. A former mentor kind of handpicked a group and brought me, and I feel super privileged about that. But what I've done is I'm like, that is it, right? These things support my goal. More eyes on my business. I'm already doing things great. I'm going to rinse and repeat. Like I said, I'm going to talk about the strategies of how we're going to keep going. And then along the way are going to be like a few people that I invest in contractors. Why I've been working with an amazing messaging expert to just get better at my messaging. So I'll probably have a few times where I work with her, potentially investing in a copywriter just to support the business in a contractual way. But other than that, like we've really up-leveled our team. We have an entirely new team than we did a year ago, except for Tina, my OBM. And so I know we have like the right people in the right seats to help get us to where we need to go. If next year there's somebody else that needs to come on board, maybe we'll see. But the idea being here is that investing in yourself and your business has the greatest ROI, and being in a place where you can just ask questions and there is somebody to support you. That's why I so heavily give space to, our community having at least 2 open coaching calls a month inside the Best Damn Coach, where you can ask anything, no matter where you're at. If you're working on your email list, if you're just like needing a swift kick in the booty, if you are, have an upcoming launch, if you just finished a launch and you want to debrief, if you need refinement of your offer, everybody in my community isn't necessarily in the same place. They're just united by a common mission. And there are so many people in this community that would tell you I would not be where I would be if it wasn't for you and the group. So if you are ready to step into that next level of your business, you want support, you want to learn from somebody who is willing to love on you, but also support you and call you out and challenge you, then, I'd love to have you come join us on December the 4th again. You can sign up for our open house sneak peek opportunity at amanda-walker.com/December. So I hope this just gives great context on how to get more eyeballs on your business, how to think outside the box and be innovative. And here's what I would just so appreciate. If you listen to this episode and it unblocked some things for you, gave some aha moments, first off, tell me about it. Send me a message. I love hearing from listeners. It's so awesome when you guys send me messages. But I would love for you to just grab the link, copy and paste this link, and just send it to one other person that you think would directly benefit from this issue or from this episode. And no doubt it can inspire them as well. So can't wait to see you on the 4th, and cannot wait for you to just go take action and really make the next 30 days of quarter 4 of 2024 really strong, and also step into 2025 with massive clarity and excitement about what's next. So until next week, coach them up.